Morning, dear students. This is Mr. Emil, and today we are going to deal with one of the most important lesson in the poetry. Who is William Blake? You have to put in mind some points about William Blake that will make it easier for you to understand this poem. Number one, from childhood he believed in the power of the supernatural. Number two, he thought that there was evidence of God in the work of nature. Number three, Blake was an engraver by trade and made and illustrated all of his own works by hand. The last point, he was politically revolutionary and got into trouble in his Republican views. Blake believed that God was a kind of blacksmith that had fashioned the world like Smith fashioned horseshoes. He also believed that God was a kind of artist who had made the world incredibly beautifully and artistically. Look for words that suggest artists or blacksmith and underline them. Just like some people question the existence of God, Blake tried to show it through a series of rhetorical questions. Stanza 1. Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? Some people pronounce it symmetry in order to have the same sound as I. To summarize these 4 lines, you can summarize them in a simple sentence. Fierce tiger in the forest, who made you? This is the question the poet is asking to the tiger. Burning. Burning means shining slightly. Immortal. Living or lasting forever. Frame. Shape. Thy. This is Old English. It means your. Symmetry means parts that match each other. Now let's see paraphrase. The poet addresses the tiger, which shines with its fierce eyes in the darkness of the night. The poet then wonders of the greatness of God to create such a perfect creature. Of course, you know the question that usually comes in the exam, which says, quote stanza 2. In what distant deeps or skies burned the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? To summarize this stanza in just a simple question, where were you created in fire? Or, who dared to make you of such fiery stuff? Again, let's say, or dare, be brave enough to, aspire, desire, seize, get hold of. Paraphrase. The poet carries on. Carries on means goes on, continues, on describing the blazing fire in the tiger's eyes. Then he says that no one can ever dream of catching such a fast animal. Quote stanza 3. And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? To summarize this stanza, Who could have been strong and skillful enough? And when you came alive, who wouldn't be scared? Let's look at the vocabulary. Art, skill, twist, bend, sinews. These are the strong cords within the body which hold the flesh to the bones. Dread, great fear. Paraphrase. No one, however strong he might be, can overcome such a fierce animal. Then the poet mentions that when the tiger gets angry and feels danger, it turns so wild and violent. Quote stanza 4. What the hammer, what the chain, in what ferns was thy brain? What the animal, what dread grasp, dare its deadly terrors clasp? To summarize it, what tools were used to make you? Who dared to make you? Let's have a look at the vocabulary. Furnace, place to make a hot fire. Anvil, iron block which hot metal is hammered into shape. Terror, great fear. Clasp, hold hard. Now let's see the paraphrase. No hammer, no chain can trap the tiger, as it's known for its cleverness. No hunting weapon can be compared to the tiger's fearful claws, which are deadly. Quote stanza 5. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? To summarize it, when the Maker finished, was he pleased? Is it possible one God made fierce and gentle things? Paraphrase. When the stars send down their rays, and when heaven washes the earth with its tears, tears here means rain, God must have been pleased to see his wonderful creation. Then he talks about the greatness of God, who created the lamb as well as the fierce tiger. Quote stanza 6. Tiger, tiger burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? Again, it's the same as the first stanza. We can summarize it in just a simple question. Tiger, who made you? You have noticed that this stanza is repeated by the poet to create internal music that is not easy to forget. Some commentary about the poem. We have number 1. If you have a question in the exam, what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? You should answer A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. Number 2, the main concept. What is the main concept, or what is the main idea, or what is the main theme of the poem? The poet gives us a beautiful description of the tiger. He describes how he looks like. He describes his courage and strength whenever he feels danger. He is also asking himself if he, who created the lamb, created the tiger. Now, the last part of our lesson, that is home assignment. You are kindly asked to illustrate here means point out, or it means explain different figures of speech in the poem. and you'll give this assignment to me in the class. Thank you for good listening. I wish you have enjoyed the poem Tyger. Goodbye, Mr. Emil.